Alright, hello everyone. Um, I'm Zero, I'm joined by Savi, and we're going to be coming this match between Pharest and Blue, two of the top players in this tournament. They both have a 3-1 score right now. Pharest's PB is a 50-49, and Blue's is a 51-55, I think. But Blue's PB, he got it, I think, just the other day, and it has a 2-cycle, an Umu 2-cycle. So actually, these two players are pretty well matched.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this race. It's not I was just checking through the race times and I saw that Pharest at least is not, like almost every other racer here, is not always playing on personal best pace when it comes to a race. So even though he has about a over a minute lead in personal best terms, it's not necessarily a guaranteed loss for Blue here. There's plenty of room. Pharest has gotten a few 52s, 53s, even a 55 during one of the rounds. So I'm excited to see what happens today. Every race has its own little story, and I'm excited to be able to tell this one.
Yeah, it's something I've noticed a lot actually looking through the race times of top runners is it's really only the very top that are really consistent at it. Pretty much everyone else has off days.
Yeah, and that's something I actually was thinking of when I was talking about in terms of difficulty of opponent. The difficulty goes up in two ways when you have runners with like better and better PBs. It's both that their speed is better, but also their consistency is usually better because that comes with experience. But so we are going to see how they're doing here. It looks like both runners are on a pretty decent pace to exit King's Pass. About a 52 from both of them, which is what you want to see. Oh, 51 from Pharest, actually. Great start. It's about as fast as you'd want to get out of there in a race.
This is also quite a consequential match as well because the winner of this match qualifies for the top 16.
Yeah, and
Um,
the loser,
the
right?
the loser might qualify.
Yeah.
I think if I'm looking at it correctly, I think if Pharest wins, Blue will qualify as well automatically. But if Blue wins, Pharest might have to go through the like the tiebreaker match.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd be excited to see Pharest in tiebreakers, but I'll hope the best for both of them. Neither one of them got hit on that grudge drop there, which is great. They're both entering the Aspid room on relatively same pace. Hopefully they both get the double spike here. Pharest, okay. It looked a little late on that, but it's perfectly fine. Blue goes up and grabs some extra Geo after missing the double spike, which puts him just slightly behind.
Yeah, actually both these players have quite a lot of Geo at this point. I think I don't know what other people are looking for, but I'm looking for like above 15 after False Night Arena is like a nice Geo pace. And Blue is on that already. Fire should get that much from the False Night Arena.
Yeah, because there's usually at least one husk that you're able to grab pretty easily. It's really unfortunate when when two husks go to the right there, but yeah, I don't know how many people are too concerned about exact geo numbers in the early game. Personally, I'm just happy to have any amount of geo that's like more than 5 or something. Like I'll notice if I'm really low, but other than that, I'll just be like, okay. But my geo collection's not too optimal. I would expect a little better from these two, I suppose.
Yeah, it's nice to keep track just because you know that you can cut things a bit closer sometimes with other geo collection if you got quite a lot. So just saving like little bits of time here and there if you're confident about your geo.
And blue does get the kind of bad RNG where the The two husks are far to the right there. Didn't get the nail hit to turn around the charging husk. So he is going to... They are going to have to deal with a little bit less Geo now than Pharest. But yeah, as you said, both above 15. Not going to be a huge deal.
This is actually really nice from Pharest. He's gonna get a 29 here, I think, unless he fumbles the pickup. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you're right.
amazing race time
Yeah,
for
it is.
VS.
29. I mean, he got everything right. He got a 51 KP, 114 nail, well entrance, double spike, statue pogo. Good stuff all around. But yeah, that's honestly just we expect top runners to have very good early game, but that's like a top level early game. Like Pest and Axe and so on and so forth. They're all fine with times like that. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, also it's quite common for in a race format for like the first split to be like a point of failure, right? Just because
Yeah,
you're nervous and because you're used to being able to reset the oh no, blue is getting absolutely awful RNG on that. So in a race to get such a good VS time is especially great.
yeah, that
I think that
was
was that third
fourth
or
split.
fourth split? Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great there, but usually I'm personally hoping that if the Balder doesn't have RNG, it becomes like a PB normalizer where the one with the fastest PV gets the most Balder splits, but not quite what happened there. It'll be something that is fairly easy for Blue to make up if he plays really well at Pharest, if he's able to capitalize on some mistakes from Pharest, but it'll add a little bit of effort to catching up when he's already behind.
Yeah, it's also
Pharest,
very discouraging. Just mentally. Oh, what was that from Blue? Is that because he's been doing 112 recently? He fireballed the Balder right away.
oh, that's wild, but he just had enough soul to go ahead. Undo the fireball skip. I actually didn't catch that.
And
Both
that's
runners make it through this room, collecting at least 5 soul. Pharest had a bit more, so he only has to hit those top birds. I reckon Blue will jump up on this platform, kill the ones a little closer. Yep. Ooh, that was a pretty low fireball skip, it looked like. Oh.
yeah, Green Path has a lot of these fireball skips, but it also has a lot of soul collection that you can do quite easily, so it's not actually that bad once you've routed it out.
Yeah, Blue just missed that second fireball skip once. Did cast the fireball, so he's a little low on soul here. He'll either have to collect a little extra before attempting the third one, or actually, Blue is someone who's practiced the third fireball skip. He can do it with one fireball. Let's see it, Blue. Nope. Not quite. He did go for it though, and I respect that.
Oh, he didn't have enough soul on the other attempt. Oh no, that's really unfortunate. 3 fails on that one. Much better to just cut it clean and just stop at that point.
Yeah, that one's one of the. That one's the only fireball skip where you have so much extra soul lying around that it's very easy to be tempted into, trying again and again. And if you're just not in the rhythm, it does end up costing you even more time to farm up that soul and just keep attempting than it would to just go around. I think it only loses, what, 4 or 5 seconds or so to go around, and much less if you get the man pogo. But both of the runners here will be farming up soul so that they can kill these Moss Knights, as Pharest is doing here. Looks like he missed a bit of Geo, but I was totally fine. 305. Should be able to kill this Moss Charger here for an extra 8 or so. A little less, but he's okay on Geo. Leaving green path with 308, not bad at all.
Yeah, Pharest dealt with that bad RNG on the Must Knight very well, though.
Yeah, they can either spawn far away, as they did for both Pharest and Blue here today, or they can spawn much closer together and you can just fireball them right away. It'll save a bit of time that way, but here we have Pharest going for the Hornet fight. And just kind of doing the damage cycle. It's a pretty basic cycle. 3 nail hits, turnaround nail hit, fireball is the typical pattern. And he got that fairly easy with a 750x cloak here. It's going to put him significantly ahead of Blue, just coming out of green path. Because yeah, Blue's starting the fight around the time Pharest is finishing.
Yeah, looks like Blue's getting a bit of a better pattern, but he did whiff a fireball there. I think he
Ooh.
saved some time on that fight, even with
Yeah, I'd
the whiffed
reckon.
fireball. She did like the nail throw, where she just stands still, and that one's actually really, really good for DPS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just get so much time for the farm up soul, and even after shooting fireball, it's pretty fantastic. Attack. Unfortunately, the only downside would be that you can't really double her while she's doing that. But you still tend to get those cycles anyway because it doesn't add to her stagger counter. But both of our runners will be making their way to a movement heavy split. The Mantis Claw split. I almost called it the Explosion Pogo split because that is a split where we do that trick, but not necessarily the important bit. Ooh, Ferris with a very clean drop. Barely touches any of the platforms.
Interesting, he also chooses to go bottom route in this room. Not many people do that, actually.
Yeah, I've heard that it's kind of a risk strategy because it is, I think, guaranteed slower if you get poor RNG on these mushrooms here, because then you have to farm soul elsewhere that you would already have from up there. But if you get the good RNG on the mushrooms, they spawn right next to each other, and you can just go for a single nail hit and insta kill them anyway. Ooh, he actually does the no inventory drop there, which I believe was determined to be fastest strat to go through that room.
Yeah, it's interesting. He did like an airwalk at the start of the room to like avoid getting bounced too high on the mushrooms.
Woo!
That
The
was
wee
kind of cool.
pogo.
Yeah, I
Showing
like
off
seeing that.
Yeah, showing off a bit of French pride here. Going for the damage tank. That is one of the fastest ways to get up there. I believe there's a slightly faster way that only absolute mad people would do, but Weepo goes as close as it gets, and from what I hear, fairly consistent. Not quite as hard as some people would think. Just as the explosion pogo looks deceptively difficult, but at least on this patch, not too bad.
Yeah, that was a very clean segment from Pharest in general. He had, I think, a little bit of a movement flub. He got a hard fall in the very first room. You know when you do the inventory drop and then the pogo on the statue. Other than that was a
Oh,
really
that
clean
one.
split.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, definitely didn't get a hard fall during the fungal drop, but yeah, no, that one. Okay. I did miss that, but yeah, other than that, I didn't see a single mistake there. Oh, and just barely misses that Aspid. You want to start farming up soul for the Gruzmother. You want 6 hits leading up to her. Missing that Aspid won't do much. It'll just mean that Jennifer has to die. He really tried to hit that Vengefly to spare Jennifer, but he couldn't get it. I hit it a second time. He knew that Jennifer's life was on the line. He went for 2 nail hits, losing a little bit of time there in the process.
I think getting a second nail hit off that guy is faster than killing Jennifer as well.
Oh, well,
But he just missed it.
yeah, so Jennifer does die, and he'll lose a little bit of time here. No big deal, though. He'll go for 3 nail fireballs here. Oh, that second nail cancel was so fast I barely even saw the nail swing come out. Wasn't quite sure. But he does make that cycle, and he'll now be going for the cleanup, murdering as many babies as he possibly can. with these 2 fireballs.
That was a pretty nice fight and a decent cleanup as well.
Yeah, it was.
That can go very poorly. Look our blue screen. Yeah, that's kind of the worst thing that you can get is when she floats just up into the ceiling.
Yeah.
And you know, some people will try and like get above her and pogo her there, but Blue was kind of sitting on the ground, so he couldn't do that.
Ooh, a
Very,
perfect cleanup from
yeah,
him, though.
that's really nice.
Yeah, so he'll lose a little bit of time on the fight, but he'll save time on the cleanup, I think. Just a little bit. But those little amounts can add up. After after all, I think the only significant time loss for Blue has been that third fireball skipping, or a little bit the second one as well.
Pharest
But
actually messed up a bit there. Um, Approaching the shade, he like did some bad movement and then couldn't hit it in time. So he then did like a double pogo shade skip. That's really weird.
oh my goodness. Okay. I'm glad you're catching all these little details here. But it looks like Blue will get up there as well, and Pharest will maintain that lead. He's pretty much a full Blue Lake ahead of Blue right now, which is a little too many blues in one sentence for me, but I said it anyway. Rixian pointing out that they have been 25 seconds apart since the Moth and Cloak split. There was no change in fungal waste, so actually really clean fungal from Blue as well. We didn't mention too much of that. Blue does apparently save 1 second entering Blue Lake.
Yeah, I wouldn't exactly call, you know, this difference a commanding lead yet, because this split dash slash Shade Soul and then going into Sanctum can be, you know, pretty much a complete mess if things go wrong. But it's definitely nice to be 25 seconds ahead here.
Yeah, for sure. On one hand, the leads do tend to feel a lot more commanding when the so to speak the more experienced player, the overdog or whatever you want to call him, is the one with that lead.
The up dog?
The up dog, yeah. What's up, dog? Um, but yeah, 25 seconds at the end of the day can be mitigated by bad Soulmaster RNG. For Pharest here, does go preemptively up into that hallway to grab that Geo. I didn't quite see how much he got from there, if any. But but other than that, he does collect a good amount of Geo. Should be leaving on the very healthy number of 734. About 30 Geo over the bare minimum that you would want here. Not enough to skip hoppers, but enough to basically guarantee that his city exit will be nice and safe. Not too much time loss grabbing Geo from Husks. Does go the upper platform through that Bellfly room. Saves a little bit of time there over going into the water.
I really like the movement in that room. And it's good that you mentioned him going into the corridor after Gorgeous Husk as well, because Blue did the exact same thing. Both these players experienced enough to have lost lots of Geo in that tiny little corridor before and very wary about it, I think.
Yeah, and honestly, it is just so frustrating to try and collect all the Geo at the bottom and then like start the quit out and then look and see that like 390 number and go like, oh god, I'm missing 30 Geo somewhere and have to close the menu and go back and get it. I definitely can see the merits of just preemptively jumping into that hallway and not bothering at all with that process.
Yeah, like by the time the Geo has ticked up and by the time he even noticed it might be too late.
Yeah, that's true. Quitting out, quitting out while missing that Geo can be very punishing. Having to kill extra hoppers or even aspids to make up for it.
This is a really nice pace for Ferris, by the way. I think that was a 14-1x dash slash time.
Good lord, he's a monster.
Although, apparently blue is making up seconds here and there. That's pretty impressive, considering who
It
he's going up
is.
against.
It is super impressive, especially considering that, you know, Ferris has had this lead and we've been commending him the entire run for how clean he is, but Blue's just been playing slightly cleaner for the past 2 splits and keeping it even for the split before that. So it's really been only one major difference between these runners, and that's been green path. Hopefully we can see. Well, I don't want to hope for bad things from Ferris, but like at this point, Ferris is playing so cleanly. Like he needs bad things to happen to him to catch up, because Blue is playing so cleanly as well. But he's not gaining enough time to really make a significant difference. But I do hope this race gets a little closer, or at least stays that way. Blue does take 2 hits of damage. It looks like he's going to take a third. Oh man, he's made
Yeah,
the decision to go through. Some people would go and take the bench on 2 HP. It looks like he might be trying to find a couple of places to heal. Definitely one on the Shade Soul elevator is going to be available. But healing anywhere in the Soul Sanctum means your soul management will be a little worse. Won't quite have optimal damage in some section or optimal safety, if that's what you'd rather go for.
yeah. I
So,
think blue is the kind of guy to play to win. He's taking a heal here. He might not heal again, actually. Um, just he wants to play cleanly and make up this time that way. Oh, he might heal now after that. That's unfortunate, yeah. But you really don't want in these situations for time loss to run away with you and you to spend more time recovering from a mistake than the mistake lost in the first place.
yeah. And even as I mentioned that soul management being a little worse in Soul Sanctum can be so punishing, like Blue went for some nail hits that I think he otherwise would have avoided. Probably would have just gone with 2 vengeful spirits, and ended up having the soul twister teleport away from him and make that extra trouble for him, where he took extra damage anyway and had to heal a second time. Ferris got a fairly clean soul warrior, or yeah, soul
It was
warrior.
actually really rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't. What you normally want is just to get the 4 nail hits and 2 doubles.
Yeah.
But he actually didn't double the first one, I don't think.
Oh,
So he had
okay.
to spend an extra Shade Soul.
I was looking a little bit at Blue. I only saw the 2 Shade Souls, but I must have missed. Because I know everyone has their own different methods here. Some people... Yeah, Blue has to go for 3 Shade Souls as well, and they'll be leaving on 0 Soul, which means they'll have to do a little extra farming here in order to get the amount of Soul that you'd want for Soul Master. Pharest hopefully going to be able to show off this quick kill here from the Soul Master. Gonna want... Yeah, he got 2 fireballs, but Soul Master gave him the bad RNG, a quick dive. He does get 1 double here, but Soul Master's really giving him... Oh! Gave him some rough RNG, but he was able to mitigate that quite well. That was a very fast fight, considering you didn't get the fastest possible start. Or the fastest follow-up attack, or anything there, really.
Yeah, it's really nice that Shade Soul just deals so much damage that there are a lot of different patterns for Soul Master that will end up in a decent fight. He can absolutely troll you sometimes, but it's rare that it's a complete troll. Oh my word, Blue, please. He's probably not going to heal here, but I hope he takes his time in second phase, because this can be really scary here. Players usually want to go for 2 nail hits on every dive, and that puts you very close to getting hit by Soul Master.
Yeah. There's a few strategies to do that as well. Some players will dash away. But... He's really still going for both hits. A little nervously, not quite getting the rhythm for the second hit on those dives. Ooh, yeah, and does make... Oh, he farmed some extra soul so he could heal. I was confused what he was doing there. Alright, that makes sense. You can heal right before you collect the dive, because you'll get to full soul refill as soon as the spell is fully collected. And being on 1 HP leaving Sanctum can be a little rough with these follies that Pharest is dealing with right now. There's some husks that they'll be killing on the way out as well that can get in the way. Actually, Pharest might not be killing those husks. He's actually on really good geo here.
Yeah, has about a 20 geo lead over blue. Oh no, blue, please. This is really yeah,
Ooh.
okay. That's a really scary place right there. He could have very easily gotten hit a second time.
Yeah, it's really the capstone on Soul Sanctum RNG is that folly can spawn in slightly earlier, and if you mess up just a little bit of movement, all of a sudden you take a hit and you're kind of trapped in a corner with it. And so blue did quite well getting out there.
Yeah, also having to carry this health all the way to the bench is really annoying sometimes. He's
Yeah.
not gonna heal though. He seems confident, I guess, or maybe not confident. Maybe he just knows he can't take the time right now.
Yeah. It was, something we'll be keeping in mind for pretty much the remainder of the run, so I won't be saying it again, but every time you heal, that's a lost spell that you could be using somewhere, and in boss fights, that can mean a whole lot. In terms of just general gameplay, it can mean enemies won't be out of your way. In this case, it would make it harder to farm up the geo that we need for... Oh my goodness, that Shade Soul only killed 2 of the husks. It's really unfortunate for blue there. He will have plenty of geo, but yeah, they want to kill some husks on the way out of here so that they have 300 geo so they can go to the King Station where Pharest is right now, pay up the geo, finish work. That'll be the end of Pharest's geo worries. The rest of the geo will come straight from the Watcher Knight chest and a couple of devouts right at the end. Not too much to worry about unless you lose all of your geo, at which point you've probably given up any opportunity to win a race anyway. 2 deaths and losing all your geo. Not quite what we would call fast. But blue will be making his way towards Pharest. Pharest's last known position in the
Nice recovery there. Yeah, the extra geo didn't actually save that much time for Pharest because he had so much that he really didn't get to skip anything. He still did the Shade Soul in the top room and the dive on the dive floor. And blue just had to walk left a little bit after the dive floor and Shade Soul right again.
Yeah, only a 3-second addition to blue's timer there, or to the difference between them, according to Rixian. Most of that actually probably from the small slip-ups in the Sanctum, bumping into that folly there. But we'll be seeing both runners enter the Crystal Peaks. This is a very tense area. A death here is, at least at this level, pretty typically the end of the race, but not necessarily if you're 0, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, for a race like this, I think that probably would be the end of it.
It is a little more balanced.
In that race versus Jeff, I had, a little bit of a time lead to work with. I think for either of these players, probably any death is very likely to end it.
Yeah, that's
They would have to both die, probably.
Yeah, there are some deaths that would cost barely any time. One of them, though, they've already made it past, basically. The soul, like death after Soul Master, loses 20-30 seconds, but other than that, yeah, pretty much every death is going to cost more than a minute, which would be the entire lead for Pharest right now, so...
Yeah, Pharest got a very nice God Cycle there, if you're paying attention to the Crystal Peak movement. Let's see how blue deals with Pogax and God Cycle room here.
Yeah, I did see Pharest go for Pogax. Did see him go for either God Cycle or God Pixel. I have a very difficult time distinguishing between them visually. See what blue does here.
Oh,
Ooh.
very, very late laser on that guy, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
think that was gonna work, sadly.
absolutely trolled. Ferris does go for the damage cycle because he's on 5 HP here. He's feeling comfortable with himself. Losing HP here in any percent is not a huge deal just because you quit out right after. In this category, they have to go get dive, which is a dangerous split, but with 4 HP, going to be quite easy, especially considering how much they've practiced this upcoming section, which is
It,
mostly just Crusher cycles and Darkroom.
yeah, it's interesting. I feel like early on in the tournament, I saw a lot of people taking hits in peak and then doing damageless cycle in order to like mitigate that. But further on, I feel like I've seen people just get cleaner at peaks and then, oh wow,
Ooh, yeah, he
blue
just did
just do
the
double dash. Wow,
yeah.
why? Not only does he have dash slash, but he had soul for a fireball there. That's just pure swag. Wow.
What an absolute legend. For those wondering, you can either use a dash slash or a fireball to air stall there. Dash slash is most typical for all skills. And according to Trinket in the chat, that's actually Blue's signature move. Apparently, we should have expected that from him. Always maintaining that soul there. It would mean that if he took any extra hits in this upcoming section, he would have enough soul to heal here. And if he doesn't, it means that he'll save some soul. Or, I mean, well, not necessarily saving soul, because this isn't any percent, but it's some nice swag. Ferris made it through the dark room with dash-only strats, by the way. The fastest strat to make it through the dark room is going to show off our early control here. Sliding off into those spikes. We'll see what blue does. I assume dash only. Maybe single C dash? Nope, dash only. Love to see it.
Yeah, I believe the dash only strat saves about 5 seconds over like the full C dash one. I'm not sure about like the different variations in between. Maybe just a couple of seconds, but it's that room should be consistent. So it's a nice time save when you learn it. Not that I've never messed up that room in my life though.
Yeah, I'm very glad to see both runners make it through without too many mishaps, because falling into the spikes usually means you have to reset the room and go back in, and it's just it can be hard to reorientate yourself, hard to trust yourself if you make a mistake, but fortunately both avoid that. And now Ferris is on to the Dream Nail split, which blue will just be starting that split. Ferris is already in the Dream Nail sequence, I should say.
This might actually be close to PB pace here. Looking at his splits, he got Dream Nail at 2540 in his PB. I think he might actually be ahead. Oh wow, what? Whew. The underplat strat there, he almost fell off. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it would be about
Wait,
7-second time loss if you fall there.
Yeah, I think
So,
he's actually quite a bit ahead of PB right now.
Blue mentioning he feels like he threw the early game. Again, it was really only Green Path split, and then I guess he had some trouble in Soul Sanctum split or Shade Soul split, but other than that, he has had a fairly clean race. It's just very hard to compare against Pharest, who's, yeah, on personal best pace when he already has a 50 XX.
Yeah, I think Blue is definitely what's the word? He's you know, comparing himself to Pharest's bests when actually he's doing a pretty good job. I think one of the things about, I guess he's watching the race, since he's in chat. One of the things about watching is that you don't actually see the full race. You're only looking every so often, so it's very easy for you to see your own mistakes against someone else's successes, and not the other way around.
Yeah. Pharest, in the meantime, starting off the Watcher Knight fight. He got some pretty bad RNG at the start. These watches are being extremely rude. Both so far of both phases of the Watcher Knights have started off with a roll, which is the worst thing you could possibly get in all skills. You want them to stick together so that they can both tank that full damage D-Dark. Oh, okay. Well, with that roll, it does actually bring them quite close. Oh, he's just getting knocked out of his spell cast. Oh, and he very, very nicely calculated damage there. Knew that that Shade Soul would finish it off. Yeah, the D-Darks deal 88 damage and an AoE, so having them stack up together, just 3 D-Darks is all it really takes to finish them off. I think a single nail hit other than that. Which is very easy to get. We'll see if blue can get any better RNG here. Open up with a nail attack, which does mean he gets the fastest possible first knight. Blue actually starts on the left side here and then makes his way back over to the right. They do stack up nicely for them. Oh, but it bounced just slightly out of the range of its first D-Dark.
This is a pretty nice pattern from the final, guys.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh.
Rolled a bit away. He didn't react to that very quickly, but that was a good pattern overall. Better than Pharest's fight, I think. He should actually save some time here.
Yeah, and those little time saves can come in handy when the time's just been slipping away as it has been to Pharest's pretty insane pace here. It's hard to say the time is slipping away so much as Pharest is just kind of pulling it out of the air, so to speak. I mean, it'd be fantastic to witness a top 5 personal best here, which could be what we're looking at if we have a significant PB from Pharest, but I will try not to jinx it too hard. We still have Umu to get through and Hornet too. I mean, Pharest's next obstacle is actually the Isma skips, which can be quite not inconsistent. They're consistent tricks, but depending on the day, it's very easy to just slip up and miss a spike tunnel skip. Pharest actually leaving on a little less geo than I think most, or not geo, soul than most people would want. Means you won't be able to
Yeah.
fireball the worm.
Yeah. I mean, this would be a problem for me. He seems prepared for the situation, though. I guess he just doesn't go for it. Messing up Spike Tunnel once, but that's not such a bad mistake.
No, not at all. Some people have this phenomenon where they either get it first try or 5th try, and he avoids that.
Oh my
Oh, and he
word.
does get wormed, fully punished.
Yeah. Does that count as a curse? Did we curse that? I mean, it's kind of inevitable that it happens to people, right?
Yeah.
When you play with fire.
I'm gonna say I gotta say I'm not gonna take the blame for that one. If you leave this room with less than 3 soul, that's on you. But not to be too harsh to him. It's quite possible, especially with race nerves. I mean, he's been playing so well, but it's hard to tell how much that factors in.
I mean, some people really just don't go for it. Like Axe, for example, only fireballs if he just happens to have tons of soul. So I think he's just in PB mode, maybe, where he's thinking, you know, if I can save time, I'm gonna save time.
Yeah. Well, in any case, that does take off quite a bit of time for him. Put him on 2 HP, which brings him to the danger zone. I was interesting to see him fireball there, and he still ended up getting hit. So I guess he was trying to make sure that he made it through. That he made it through there with the C dash, but yeah, it didn't quite clean up all of those
Yeah,
sentries
looks like
there.
Blues saved quite a bit of time. Thanks for that cleaner Ismas.
Yeah, we kind of glanced over the Isma skips just because of that warmp. But other than that, there was an early control there where both of them hit a warmp. Got a knocked out of the Isma's dialogue box a little bit earlier. It saves a significant amount of seconds there. Not quite sure on the exact time, but it is worth going for if you have the HP for it.
Yeah,
Apparently,
yeah, we're just gonna
Ferris'
wait on
stream is,
Pharest.
yeah, fully offline. Okay, he's back.
These things do happen.
Yeah,
Technology problems.
hopefully we won't have to call our volunteer to get it back. It'll just kind of reboot itself. Should be giving it about 20 more seconds, I want to say, just so it can catch up with all the stream delays.
Yeah, he's gonna end up warping in, I think, having finished the Broken Vessel fight, maybe. So we won't get to see his Morlocks. Oh, just
Ooh.
about to start it. Nice. Let's see what good RNG he gets here. What you want Broken Vessel to do is just basically immediately headbang, because that's the attack that you can get the best DPS on.
Are we certain that's RNG? Because from what I've understood, if you get the double hit, it's almost guaranteed. The two double hits that Ferris started the fight with there.
He will usually headbang pretty early, but I've had him just kind of flail around the room quite
Well,
a
that might
lot
be.
before doing it. Yeah, it's really annoying.
Yeah, that'd be frustrating for sure. And Blue did make it through the Molochs fairly cleanly. Does go for base and skip. I think he got it second try. Either that or he abandoned it very quickly. Blue also starts off that fight with that double. Means the second double is guaranteed as well. And yeah, he's just as you said. Ooh, Blue, I believe, just knocked him out of the headbang. Maybe not. Yeah, he's
And a
Blue
second
is
time, yeah. This is
Blue is.
actually a bad fight, unfortunately. Even though he's getting stagger locked, you really don't want that.
Yeah,
It's actually slows it down quite a bit.
it's quite
We
rough.
didn't get to see how Pharest did at base and skip or Morlocks, but it looks like he had a better time of it than Blue. We'll see what the comparison looks like after they pick up wings.
First is making his way to Hornet 2, which is that first boss fight created a fairly significant, not a significant difference, but will definitely add to Ferrest's advantage. But Hornet 2 could easily take it away from him. Oh, he does dash here and go for that safety bench just in case he dies. The camp bench will save even more time if you die, but it takes about 10 seconds to go for, maybe 15. Uh, so one is, I believe, the safest to take without a significant time loss.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the benches. Because, like I said, I think at this point, if either of these racers die, that's probably the end of the race unless the other person also dies. So I guess I would skip it, but it takes like barely any time to get, so I guess it's not a bad choice.
Blue just C dashes right out of there. I didn't notice if he went for the basin bench, actually. You can get a bench in the hidden station that costs almost no time to get just because you're waiting for the stag anyway. And you can access the platform from the right side where the bench is, but we'll focus on this Hornet 2 fight from Pharest.
Yeah, looks like, thanks to that Ismas, I guess he'll need a pretty good fight here if he wants to stay on PB pace.
And so far, I think he's only
That's
managed
an okay
one
double.
double.
Yeah. Hornet fights have a habit of either improving really fast or getting really bad really fast. There's a nice couple doubles, actually. Yeah, this is getting pretty good now.
That missed Shade Soul will cost him, though. But yeah, not a slow fight at all.
Yeah, that turned out actually fairly decent as far as Hornet fights go. I think he's
Blue
like
gets
barely
a very
behind.
early double there. Oh, Blue just walks into Hornet twice there. Not quite what you want to see, but with an experienced runner, I would. Ooh, and gets a Shade Soul parry right in his face. That 2 HP is looking kind of scary. I don't want to see him slow down though. I want to see him keep going. Yeah, and he's still going for those doubles. He's not healing on staggers or anything. Blue, I really gotta admire him when stuff starts going wrong. He really just keeps going for maximum speed, not healing in Soul Sanctum, not healing or slowing down for Hornet on 2 or even 1 HP. Very admirable
Yeah,
performance.
you gotta love that can blue attitude.
Is this the famous British humor I've heard so much about?
Oh yeah, it's awful, isn't it?
I enjoyed it for one. Speed Gaming, I have to say, shout outs to every Speed Gaming channel that's rating us right now. I think I saw 3 Speed Gaming raids in the last like 10 minutes or so. Welcome to all the raiders. We heard Pharest versus Blue. Pharest is somewhat significantly ahead, just barely under a minute ahead actually. It would take, I would say, probably a death for Blue to catch up at this point. Even a missed Umu 1 cycle, or even a 3 cycle wouldn't be quite enough to make up that difference. And other than that, there's not too many significant time losses in the foreseeable future.
It's definitely possible for gaps like this to close, but against Pharest, that would be a pretty impressive, just to make up so much time and movement. Like stuff like Hera can be pretty volatile if you take a few hits, Abyss Climb, Hollow Knight fight, but it doesn't quite add up.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless Pharest, really has a few bad segments.
Yeah, and especially with how well Ferris has been playing too, it really decreases the likelihood of that happening.
Yeah,
Blue,
I think
Blue's,
Pharest is now tied with PB actually, just as an update from Cyclone Slash.
yeah, it's always nice to see some race PVs, but I wouldn't count on it too much. There's still significant portion of the route ahead. As we've already mentioned, Umu, Hera splits, both somewhat volatile. It looks like first stream might have cut out again right as it faded to black. We have him on incognito, zooming on his way to Umu. Just imagine the C-dash here. Ooh, I can imagine a C-dash glitch where he got hit by
Oh,
the tick.
don't curse him. Please don't. That was actually some really clean movement from Blue. I think he's still about a minute behind though, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Cyclone split is really just a short bit of movement here. Oh, it looks like he didn't get tick. He's on full HP. I uncursed him by cursing him preemptively. Usually, he ended that C-dash. I'm not sure what happened there.
No, that's the movement.
That's the movement?
Yeah, that's what you do now. You do dashes in that room because you C-dash the whole previous room.
I see.
Yeah, it's like a whole new thing.
All right.
You're a boomer, Savvy.
I am a boomer. That's true. It does manage to come into the fight on full soul. So what they want to do is lure Umu down a little farther here, right onto this platform. Then they'll jump back up, flutter over Umu a little bit, make sure he gets just above this platform that he's standing on right now, then fall off the ledge to the left. Shade Soul twice, dash in. 3, 4, push Umu out. 2 Shade Souls should finish him off. That is the perfect 1 cycle.
That was absolutely textbook. He even got the perfect RNG on the attacks. 2 short, 1 long. That's going to be really hard for blue to match, honestly.
Yeah.
Both the RNG and the execution part of that fight.
Yep. I mean, it's hard to it's hard to improve upon like the best possible outcome, right? Or yeah,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
you said,
typically.
even match it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason you want the short long is that the long allows you to get into position just very easily, whereas if you get a short attack, you have to deal with these electrical balls right in the path of where you'd want to be jumping. And yeah, that's a long attack, then a short one, and yeah, now a long one. Look like blue lured Umu a little farther to the left than some would. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, looks like the bus is pretty low as well. Oh no, he missed the first Shade Soul. Yeah, that kills it, unfortunately. He was just a little bit too early on that first Shade Soul.
Oh, blue typing in chat and frustration.
Yeah,
Not what he wanted to see when he's already 50 seconds behind, but... Oh, okay. I was a little nervous we'd be seeing a 3 cycle. But, a good cleanup there from blue. That it could have gone even worse. Murray calling out Pharest for a boomer left side exit? Which I would assume left side exit is faster. So I would assume he's saying that he did the left side exit in a different way than they currently do. Which maybe doesn't save
yeah.
as much time.
I think Pharest strats are just a couple weeks too old for Marie.
Gotta keep up to date, or you may as well be one of these ancient runners who have been running for 3 years. Week old strat better be in your runs tomorrow. Joke, of course. But, Pharest is making his way to the Great Slash Split. Blue, or through the Great Slash Split, he's already there. Blue trying to catch up to him, just starting that out. This whole split's just a bunch of C dashes, really, and dashing. Not too much goes on. Soul farming doesn't matter at all for once, because they quit out right after and they lose all of that. And there's no real enemies in the way or geo collection, so to speak of. Just making it through there. Pharest gets the fast cycle there. Love to see it.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with his movement throughout this race. I mean, it goes without saying, you know, as a 30xx runner, he has good movement because this category is all movement when you get down to that kind of level. But he's really showing off. And I hate to, oh, blue, please. I hate to nag on blue, but the movement seems to be a big part of the difference here. In that, you know, blue's made a few mistakes and lost some time.
Oh yeah,
But
like that, falling down
but
at
the reason that the race is sort of running away with him is because he can't save back any time against Pharest because his movement is just not as good.
Yeah, it's been a rough race for Blue, and you know what? He's still going to finish with a time that's pretty far ahead of the majority of runners. So it's not as if he's just been playing terribly. It's just by comparison, not too much of time to save anywhere on Ferris run, and any sort of mistakes in addition to that are going to put you this far behind.
Yeah, I would not feel happy going into a race against Pharest, let alone if I knew ahead of time that he was going to be playing at pretty much his best. So this is a really tough race to be in for Blue.
Yeah, I would like to see just how many 50xx times we had in races at the end of the tournament, because I looked and it even even Monster and Pisces have not been consistently getting those 50xx times. So
Yeah, just Axe somehow has insane consistency.
yeah, he really does. It's always been his selling point, so to speak, as a runner, and what makes him so intimidating to race against. He'll get world record the day before a race, and then in the day of the race, get a time that would have been world record before that. Um, he's absolutely insane. But in any case, I would like to see if Ferris does get a 50, some sort of stat, so where that would put him just on a tournament leaderboard, so to speak, of race times.
I actually have some times up for something I've been working on.
Yeah, actually, I think that was your graphic that I saw all
Yeah,
those times on. I just
like
realized that was.
Axe and Pisces have both got 49s, and then Monster and Velignatev as well has got 50s. But getting a 50 in this tournament, I think
First, actually,
if he finishes with a 50, he'd be like, I think top 5 in the tournament leaderboard, I guess. Because like players like Murray, Sauer, Viz, Homothety haven't actually gotten 50s in this tournament,
yeah, and
even
that's
though they're capable.
yeah, and that just shows how hard it is to have that level of consistency. There's just so much that can go. I mean, it's an hour-long run. There's so many places where you can lose, 10 seconds or so, and just it'll as it builds up over time, really puts that 50 out of a reasonable range. But Ferris has been managing to keep it going. And Ferris, by the way, I did want to mention, actually did miss the what is the phrase? It's a damage warp. It's not a
Oh
thorn
yeah,
warp.
the
Yeah,
hazard
he
warp
missed it.
thing.
The hazard warp. He
Yeah.
missed it once, so he did take an extra hit of damage, and he took a second extra hit somewhere. Normally you'd be on 4 HP here. Being on 2 HP can be a bit scary if you're not used to the devout. I would expect Ferris to be used to it, so I'm not too nervous for him.
Yeah, I guess that might put PB pace a bit further away. When I checked in at rates, he was actually again tied with PB, so he might well be behind now.
Yeah, I'd reckon about 4 seconds for a missed hazard warp there. So, unless he has something similar in his personal best. Oh, Blue just barely missing his C dash, but realizing in time to knock up that moss creep away from him. Ooh, does dash right into that Mantis Youth, I believe, or Petra. Oh, he wanted to C dash there, but he saw that the boomerang was coming from him. The quick reactions here from Blue, realizing that he's not quite exactly where he wants to be both times. We'll be coming
Okay,
in.
Ferris is now 6 seconds behind his PB. I don't know his PB well enough to know if that's doable throughout the rest of this race. I mean, there is stuff left to do the whole of Abyss, but maybe a player of his caliber has, an Abyss in his PB that's 6 seconds, that doesn't have 6 seconds to save in it.
Yeah, and the Hollow Knight can also just be so volatile in the RNG. A Scream Skip can save a significant amount of time, so if he doesn't have a Scream Skip in his run, that can be a big difference maker. Okay, okay. It was a little hard for me to see what happened to Blue there. He did get hit by the spider, but he manages to get out fairly cleanly.
Oh my
Yes!
word!
Fourth underplat,
My
let's
heart went into my
go!
throat there. Why does he do this?
Fourth underplat is my favorite underplat. It absolutely kills your run if you fall there, especially if you don't know the dark room, which is required to escape a fall into. I'll say that it's what's her name? I forget this character's name every time. I keep thinking like Brood Mother, but
Oh yeah, the
Midwife's
midwife. Yeah.
territory. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, chat and Zero.
Looks like Blue actually was a little worried there. He killed the devout and then took a step back, because he was on 2 HP. It's
Genkar, I
about
will defend myself saying I did not forget the character. I forgot her name. Midwife is a wonderful character. I love her too. But sorry, sir, go ahead.
yeah, about 1 minute 40 difference between them. So absolutely, Pharest has to die. Please don't. But what? As soon as I said that he takes damage, please don't
Yeah.
die. But in order for Blue, Pharest has to die. Did he just
Did
miss
he
the
miss?
lever?
Yeah, he may.
Oh my
All
god!
right, let's not axe it here. Let's get
I,
that. There we go.
I don't think I've ever seen someone miss that.
Ah, yeah. Not 3 times in a row for sure.
Oh, is that a famous axe moment?
Yes. 6 seconds lost on personal best pace. It's quite the meme. We do know that Axe did come back in the end though for the world record, but oh, it was worth it. It was worth it for the meme that he contributed. He does make it through there fairly decently. Through the whole split, I should say, fairly decently. Other than that, missed lever skip. Missed lever skip, missed lever. The
He lever
sibling climb wasn't
skipped.
quite as fast. He lever skipped, that's true. Blue getting the swag door. Looked like a little late on swag door actually, but swag either way. Blue has a lot of swagger in this. How many underplats has Blue gone for? If we've been keeping track, did he go for the hazard underplat? Did not see that. I feel like if you go for fourth underplat, you surely go for every other underplat. If you're going to go for the underplat that loses time and potentially costs you your entire run if you fail it, like surely you go for Dream underplat, which only costs 7 seconds or so.
Yeah,
Wow, that
what
was
about the hazard warp underplat though?
the hazard warp one. I think that's free. I think that's great.
Okay, I think Forest is actually 7 seconds behind now.
Oof.
So I guess he lost a second to that slightly sketchy lighthouse climb.
Blues.
Yeah, he might
Blue.
not be able to PB this now.
And that's rough. But to be able,
Oh wow.
that'll almost certainly
Yeah,
be
that's a
it.
classic, sadly.
Really is. But Blue, I do want to commend them for that sibling climb. By the way, he took a hit, but he got right back on that horse and he rode it straight to the top of that lighthouse. Oh my goodness, this pogo there just barely saving Ferris from yet another spike damage tank.
Yeah,
Nerves, the nerves getting to him, I think, or maybe the crawlids being a little off cycle.
I actually
Does recover for a triple spike.
don't really like that strat that he was doing on the two like the two line blocks. They're next to each
Yeah,
other with the spikes on the bottom. He was like pogoing the spikes between them. I really don't like that.
yeah, I do prefer the jump method, and I do think it's actually faster because it might save
Yeah,
some frames on the spikes.
I feel like it is as well. Like the jumps, it looks sketchy, but actually when you try it, just kind of jumping between them is really safe and fast as well.
Mhm.
I think maybe he does it. He was like trying to go for an extra hit on the Shadow Creeper on the left, but I I mean he is coming into this fight with almost full soul, but I feel like that's not. I don't think that's worth it.
Yeah, and even though he does make a few mistakes on this Abyss climb, I'd love to hype up Blue and say that he can make up a lot of time there, which he can, but I mean, Blue is 20 seconds or so behind on the timer, as well as being a full, like, Abyss climb behind. Not really an opportunity to make up for it there.
Yeah, look at that strat that Blue's doing. I find that a lot easier. This is really clean so far.
Yeah,
Go on, show off
gonna see
Blue.
a Poco here. Oh, and he gets the nice setup for the triple spike as well. This is an IL level Abyss climb. That was perfect. I love it.
Yeah, round of applause for that. That was great. Blue really showing off at the end of the race.
Oh, just misses the fucking wing. The wings input right at the end. A little unfortunate, but Pharest here is starting off the Hollow Knight fight. He's going to try to Abyss Shriek the Hollow Knight as much as possible. Going to start off with one here. He has extra soul from the funky Abyss climb that he did. He's damage tanking a little bit, which is pretty typical for this fight. He's getting a lot of Shriek damage here. I mean a lot. Oh, he does go for a dive there. And second dive. Dive is not quite optimal damage, but he's pumped out so much already.
Yeah, maybe just being on 3 HP is low enough to not want to take too many chances.
Oh, he can get a scream skip here for sure. I was just thinking that he might have over damaged that last phase. Yeah! Let's go.
Oh wow, that was so close to the 50 in the end.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit over.
It was, I think it was the Abyss dunks that did it. But
Really
that's a
was.
really great race time. I mean, like we said, very few races have finished with a 50 anyway, so this still puts him amongst the best.
Yeah, and far ahead of his of what was his original seed time, and that's something I like to keep track of, is just how much progress everyone has made over the course of this tournament. Most runners being minutes ahead of where they started the tournament at. And just being able to finish a race time over what used to be your PB is a pretty great feeling.
Yeah, and actually Blue will end up finishing with a pretty good time compared to his PB as well anyway. Assuming the rest of this fight goes smoothly.
Button there. Just trying to mark our winners down. 1 second. Oh, you already did it. Thank you.
Yeah, he got a few yeah, those dashes in this fight. It's kind of slows you down quite a bit because you really just want to stand under him and shriek. That's a great time too, from Blue. I think this would have been very close to PB had he not PB'd a few days ago.
Yeah, Blue actually, I think he said that his PB he just got this morning. But honestly, 40 seconds off of PB isn't bad at all either. Which I believe, yeah, it's gonna be about that far off of what his current time is, which is 51:55. So good game to both racers. Can't wait to have them both in here to talk about that one. Be sure to leave questions in chat if we have anything that we want to clear up.
Looks from his splits, yeah, like Pharest was actually ahead, lost ahead at Great Slash. And I think he had potential to PB as well, up until the Abyss climb. That's really unfortunate. Wow, he was 16 seconds ahead of his PB at one point. That's amazing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure. Other stuff we gotta ask, I feel. The Wurmp, we can talk about whether or not he usually has enough soul or always goes for that fireball and just didn't realize. And what else? What else really happened this race? We had some trouble from Blue and Green Path, but honestly, that's not I mean, you miss a fireball skip. That's not too much to talk about. The one cycle. One
Hello.
cycle is
Hello, both
Hello,
of you.
welcome.
Great
GGs.
race.
Thank you.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was a great run.
Yeah, Ferris, that was amazing from you. And both of you were not too far off of your PBs, but oh, Ferris, you would have come so close there if not for maybe that abyss climb. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
nerves at the end there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Unfortunate.
but still really happy with that 51.07.
Yeah, 51:07 is a great time. It would be about 10th place on the leaderboards too. Maybe just barely in 11th, but it's such a great time. It can't be overstated.
Yeah, you
Um,
did great. I was watching a lot of the race actually, and all I saw was just zoom in.
So much
Seeing
typing
like
in
the
depth.
time difference keep raising.
I mean, Blue, at least in the early game, you actually kept track with Pharest pretty well. Even after Green Path, you were like saving time every split. But
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm not really happy with myself this run because like I de-rusted this category today and I PB'd by like 30 seconds and I was like, yeah, I got this. And then I go into the race and like first thing I throw like 20 seconds in green path and then I miss the 2 cycle or the 1 cycle. And then I have a bad hornet fight. I miss all the headbang attacks on Broken Vessel. Just a bunch of crap, really. The only thing I'm really only happy about is the Abyss climb, it feels like. And I guess Ismus was pretty smooth as well. The rest was just not very nice, I feel like.
That
But
abyss
then-
climb was immaculate. I loved it. It was really good.
Yeah.
also, like, let's be clear, finishing with a 52 puts you in, you know, that's one of the best race times of this tournament. You know, not the very best, but you know, give yourself a little bit of credit for that.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, I'm more disappointed in myself because I knew I could do better if I just hadn't made like a couple of stupid mistakes. But then,
Yeah,
you
very
know,
true.
not everyone can have like their best day every day. So like, this was just not my day for tournament races, and that's fine. That's how it is. I'm just
Yeah.
glad I could finish this run, because last time was a disaster.
I'm glad we got a little bit of redemption there then.
Yeah.
Speaking of small mistakes, Ferris, I have to ask about the Wurmp. Do
Oh,
you
That
do you
was so
usually-
scary.
do you usually fireball it there, or do you not mind not having enough soul there for that, or?
No, usually I don't mind, but I don't know why. This time I was like, okay, I'm going to fireball it, and I had no soul, so I was okay. Let's do
Oh,
it like
no.
every time, and that was so scary. And the C dash in the long room after was even more scary.
Yeah, that
I-
was. I saw you
I
jump.
tried to play safe. Like I stopped my C dash, I fireballed, and everything went wrong. And that no, please,
Oh, I'm
But-
glad you made it out of there alive.
yeah. But it's
Yeah,
pretty
the Ismus section
funny.
can definitely just kind of screw you over sometimes.
It's pretty funny because my run is the opposite of Blue's run because everything I'm really happy with everything except Ismail the climb. That's the two parts I really missed. Hornet 2 was really good. I'm so glad that Hornet 2 went that well during a race.
Mhm. Yeah, it was a great Hornet 2 fight. A really good one cycle. Able to catch all of the movement, the finer movements there. You even got perfect RNG on that. The zero called out.
Yeah. I think my one cycle, what I did was I fireballed slightly too early, just a fraction of a second too early, so that like the second, it didn't push Umu back in a way that the second fireball would double. So
actually
it just
think-
ended up being that awkward kind of
Yeah, I actually think
double single hits.
the first one didn't hit at all.
Oh,
I think
oh,
it was
that's
that
even
early.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious because I had to do so much damage. I almost missed the 2 cycle as well. Because, like,
Yeah.
there was so much damage that I needed to do that I apparently missed the first cycle. And I was like, where is this coming from?
Yeah. That first fireball I said did look like it completely missed. Yeah, and
Yeah.
what was is do you always lure Umu that far to the left? Because we thought it was a little Umu was a bit low and a little bit farther to the
Yeah.
left than we usually see him.
What I was thinking in the moment was that as I was going down, I thought Umu was a bit low for my liking. So, you know when they're doing the third attack and you're standing on the bottom platform, right? I was like, there's only one way I can get Umu to not go straight down to me and then have to go up again and be like stuck in the platform or be too short, you know?
Right, and
So-
so you jumped around
So
to
I
the
jumped slightly left to try to like arc
Raise
the
him.
path, I guess.
left.
And Umu just ended up really far left, and I just had to deal with that, and I didn't do that successfully either. So, yeah.
Well, you did make it through the race in the end. You got a pretty decent time. Really liked the Hollow Knight fight from both of you, I think. Pharest, you got the scream skip there at the
Yeah.
end. That was great.
I
RNG.
was not a fan of the RNG THK gave me. Like, every time in these races, when I do THK, the last time was just parries. This time, THK did not stop dashing, which is the worst attack. And,
Yeah.
like, I had to deal with that. And it was awful. Because even in the second phase, they just started dashing back and forth. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna have a fast fight. If I bring up my splits, I probably lost like a really good amount on THK. I'm actually really curious. Let me switch layouts.
I do
I
think you worked
lost
well
6
with the
seconds on
RNG you had.
THK, but I golded both Abyss Climb and Shriek. Huh.
Nice, that's nice.
And the rest was just time loss.
Were there any golds from you, Ferris? Because your early game was so good, and honestly, blue from you as well, matching him for several splits.
You got a 29 VS, right?
Yeah.
Insane. That's really
Yeah.
crazy.
I golded D-Dark and Monomon, so Umu, but I think it's because of like the perfect RNG I got.
I mean, yeah, and you did some movement. Zero called me a boomer for not knowing the C dash in and then dashes in the later room. So you know you had the best movement that you could have there as well. So it was really everything coming together for you.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna make top 16. I think I might have a chance still, depending on the scores of my opponents in these first 5 rounds. But either way, if I even do get in, I'm gonna face a really, really tough opponent in the first round, so I'm probably gonna end up going to loser's bracket almost immediately. Which, you know, it is what it is.
In my reading of it, you qualify, I think.
Ooh, nice.
But this Smash GG thing is a bit weird to read. I'm not entirely sure what to make of it.
Well, I will be happy to see both of you there, if that is indeed what happens. And I hope you get a chance for a rematch or something to lift your spirits here, Blue. 'Cause
Yeah.
I do. Yeah,
I feel like just in one day having improved my PB. So my PB that I got today in practice or derusting, whatever. It was a 30-second PB, so I have a 51:55 now. And that one had an Umu that got a 2 cycle and an extra attack. So I lost like 30 seconds there. So like at the moment, I think if I just don't like do anything stupid, I'm probably just capable of something akin to a low 51 and possibly a high 50 if I actually practice. But then I would have to put in a lot of time in this category, and at the moment I'm running 112 and all that stuff, so I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I'll see what I prioritize. But it feels good to know, like, that I'm actually capable of improving quite a lot.
All right. Well, I think we're about ready to wrap it up here. I think our audience was quite pleased by this race from what I could see. So,
Actually, Pharest, I have one question for you, if you don't mind.
Yes.
I was just curious, since you're confirmed to have qualified now, is there which other qualified player would you be most excited to have a race against?
Don't tell Murray, but it's probably him.
let's go.
That would be a really
Battle-
hype match, yeah.
The battle of
For
the bad
sure,
guy.
yeah.
And yeah, both of you guys have around this very similar PB times, right?
Yes, his time is 50:38, I think.
Yeah, so within
Oh
10
wow,
seconds
yeah.
of each other. And we saw how consistent you can be, especially in that early game. It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing for sure. But in any case, thank you to Zero for jumping into the comms here. Thank you to the audience for just making it fun to watch. Rixian for timing as usual. And thanks to both racers as well.
As well as the speed gaming people who managed to sort out the time issues and find us a channel to host the run on
Yeah, thank goodness.
last second.
I feel like it's really nobody's fault when a race
Yeah.
tends to go a little bit over time. So to have the speed gaming people be able to account for that and give us this channel here, quite brilliant.
All right
But
then. Yeah. Good
we'll
night,
be wrapping
everyone.
it up.
Good
Everything
night,
done?
everyone.
Good night, and thank you again.
GG's, Pharest.
GG.
You played really well.